The show that made zombies famous in pop culture has seen better days. When it first aired, everyone went crazy over the original storyline and the characters. Plus, the zombies were terrifying, and we'd wait every week for them to come back and have us on the edge of our seats. But it's ending now, and Judith Grimes is set to replace Rick in the Walking Dead finale. Let's talk more in this video. Starting off, the epic replacement. So we know that the zombie show is lurching towards its final ever episode, and things are starting to look like they'll be changing for good for Rick Grimes' role. And it turns out Judith is going to be taking over the role for the original comic ending. She'll be set to replace her father, who's the mythical Rick Grimes, in the upcoming finale of the show. We all know that the zombie apocalypse show is ending, and we're all sad to see that happen. There are people speculating and wondering what's going to happen with the story. One big question mark hangs over the fate of Cailey Fleming's character Judith Grimes, who took a bullet that was intended for Maggie in the episode Family. That penultimate episode had ended with Judith barely clinging to life as Daryl Dixon carried her towards the Commonwealth's clinic close by. We'll assume and hope that she's going to survive her injuries. This means that the stage is set for Judith to take over her father's role, because that's how it actually happened in the Walking Dead comic ending. In this source material, the Commonwealth Rebellion had threatened to boil over into an all-out war. The comic showed Rick standing among the violent crowd and delivering a speech about the importance of cooperation and building for the future. Both sides backed down and they found a peaceful resolution. We don't really have Rick Grimes in the show anymore, so we now think Judith Grimes will be the one to take his place. Next up, living up to the legacy, unless Rick Grimes comes back, which we don't see happening, to be honest. Once they deal with the oncoming zombie horde and its variant walkers, Judith could become the voice of reason that'll stop the Commonwealth from going into a full-blown civil war. Since The Walking Dead Season 11's final block began, every episode has started with a narration from Judith Grimes. In every narration, she had this underlying message of hope, togetherness, and building something better, which are also the values of Rick Grimes when he spared the life of Negan in Season 8, and that Carl Grimes also gave his life upholding. It's not like Judith is hiding away from all these responsibilities either. She's shown quite an interest in her family's moral teachings throughout the final episodes of the show and could be building towards a coming moment when she'll rise above all the violence and talk up the crows to find a peaceful solution, just like her father did in the comics. One other huge clue that we don't want to miss out on is the opening scene of Family. The main gang got ready to leave Outpost 22 and head to the Commonwealth, and Judith was the one to stop to grab the Alexandrian legal charter. If you don't remember, this legal framework used to serve as the foundation of civilization between Alexandria, Oceanside, and Hilltop. You might see it and think how pretty the calligraphy is, but this piece of paper has precious little use on the battlefield. Moving on, peace to the Commonwealth. The only reason that Judith would even put the charter in her bag would be to show the Commonwealth and Alexandria that they could work together instead of shooting each other with bullets. One more reason we think it's going to be Judith to replace Rick is that Andrew Lincoln, the actor who played the character of Rick Grimes, has been absent from the show since Season 9, which means it's highly unlikely that he'll be bringing peace to the Commonwealth. So, if this role goes to his daughter, this makes it a poetic sort of legacy, keeping the authenticity of the original comics. Rick's son could also have been a great candidate for this role had they not killed off Carl so early on in the show. But Judith delivered Rick's "We Are Not the Walking Dead" worked almost as effectively as Rick Grimes himself coming back to bring peace. Sure, not exactly like that, but it has weaved the spirit of the Grimes family into The Walking Dead's ending. As we all know, Judith Grimes' life is in danger as the series finale begins, but it'll make her an even better person for the position. Sure, it'll be accidental that Pamela Milton shot a child to protect her position in the Commonwealth, but it's not going to sit well with the citizens. They'll be even more determined to end Pamela's life when they see the life-threatening injury that Judith has. Lastly, the new leader. But if Judith asks them to think with cooler heads, the fighting just might end. That'll show them that even an injured child can be merciful. So why can't those adults like Maggie and Mercer, maybe even Pamela? Cailey Fleming took over the role in Season 9, and since then, Judith has shown everyone that she's an extraordinarily capable survivor. Not just that, but Judith also retains her childlike sense of right and wrong. She's also incredibly useful in a fight and is tactically smart. It's pretty funny, but she's also more level-headed than most of the adults she encounters. We have no doubt that she's shown herself to be a great future The Walking Dead leader. We're not the only ones saying that, you know. Daryl allowed her to join the Commonwealth Assault Mission too, which is a huge testament to her maturity. So if a half-injured Judith Grimes stands tall while the Commonwealth revolutionaries go to war against Pamela Milton's supporters and even delivers an inspiring speech that unites both sides hides behind a common cause, it'll mean that she's the new Judith Grimes. Despite her young age, she'll quickly become the person that survivors will turn to in the show. And if season 11 involves a time jump ending, that'll bring Judith into her late teens. Then it'll be even better because you'll be able to see her in an official leadership position among her people. We all want this to happen, don't we? It's been way too long since a Grimes led the way in The Walking Dead. So now you know what's possible in the show and how Judith Grimes could be taking over Rick Grimes' position. Let's move on and talk about 5 clues that show a major The Walking Dead character may die in the finale. We begin with the background music. Everyone was pretty surprised when the penultimate episode showed us that Judith Grimes was accidentally shot by Governor Milton. Now, as her life hangs in the balance, we're seeing some clues about the character's fate before the series finale airs. It's being said that Judith won't survive the show, but it's possible that they're misdirecting us. After all, we just saw how she's supposed to take over the position of her father. But there are music cues that show how she won't survive. As the episode opens with a monologue, you can hear part of the score from both Rick and Michonne's final episodes. So are they hinting that she's going to face the same fate as the two of them? Why else would they use such an impending doom sort of music? Next up, the hat. There's a hat that Carl gave to his sister Judith right before his death, and now Judith herself had given that hat to her other brother RJ. This passing of the hat could mean that Judith's time on the show is coming to an end, and the legacy of the Grimes will be in RJ's hands from now on. Moving on, there's always a cost. At the beginning of the episode, we hear Judith saying darkly, "There's always a cost," just before we hear a firing shot. But the shot isn't the sound of a gun, it's Daryl's crossbow firing. Now, if you watch the episode again, you'll see that it looks like the pairing of the line and sound of the shot may have foreshadowed where Judith was going to end up. And when Judith was shot, it was Uncle Daryl who came to her help first. More on this. The same fate. It's very possible that Judith could get her father's comic death. If you read the comics, you must know that it's a different member of the Milton family who shoots Grimes. Governor Milton's son, Sebastian, is the one who shoots Rick dead in the chest. If you look closely, Pamela shot Judith in a place that was close to her chest, so there's a similarity there too. Last of all, the jinx. Oh, we didn't hear Judith say the family's secret motto out loud, which may have jinxed her fate. In the penultimate episode, Judith said that her parents shared a secret, saying she never confirmed it, but we're all pretty sure it's "we're the ones who live." It's supposed to be a good luck charm for them, but all we know is that Judith doesn't speak it aloud to RJ before she leaves him. That's it from our side for today. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or thoughts about Judith Grimes replacing Rick in The Walking Dead finale, let us know in the comments below. See you at the next one.